You're now listening to the 11:30 podcast. Enjoy the show.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 11:30 podcast, Dre and Willsy is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 11:30 podcast, Dre.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Welcome everyone to the 4-year anniversary of the 11:30 podcast. What's good, everybody doing out there? Appreciate everyone tuning in to the podcast show. You know what time it is, man. It's not 7:30, it's 11:30. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate everyone joining me on this amazing journey. Like I said, it's the 4-year anniversary episode. Got some great guests that's going to be joining me, man, and celebrating 4 years of the 11:30 podcast, man. I was asked not even that long ago, man, how do I feel about being a 4-year, celebrating 4 years with the podcast, man. And I just said, you know what, like a dad, man. I look at it like it's like my oldest son in a way, you know. So it's real cool, man. Really cool and awesome. Looking back at some wonderful moments and some awesome guests that I had on the 11:30 podcast. So speaking of awesome guests, I got some awesome guests that will be returning back here on this 4-year anniversary episode of the podcast show. Yes, you guys, I got my guy, Quon Johnson, Quon John, my guy, host of Motivational Motives, baby, motivational speaker, entrepreneur, author, that's going to be joining me here on this week's episode of the podcast show, man. It's going to be great. Love chatting with my guy, Quon John, really big motivational and inspirational guy. And also, you guys, I got my guy, Brian B., the host of the Beeline Entertainment LLC, is going to be joining me in just a bit, you guys, in just a bit. So we're going to get ready, man. It's going to be a fun conversation, a fun episode for everyone. If you're new to the show, if you're new to the podcast and you haven't done so, definitely hit that subscribe button down below, like it, leave a comment, share it, and don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, man, we ain't gonna waste no more time. I'm joined with my guy, Brian B., the host of the Beeline Entertainment LLC. As you can see, you guys, man, it's going to be an awesome episode still to come. I have an awesome guest that's been joining me over these last couple of years, man, 4 years to be exact. Here on the 11:30 podcast, my guy, Quon John, is going to be joining me in just a bit as well. But you guys, man, like I said, it's the 4-year anniversary episode of the 11:30 podcast. I got my guy, Brian B., with me on this week's episode. What's going on with you, my guy?
What's good, bro? Listen, y'all, 4 years, man. That's a hell of an accomplishment, brother. I really appreciate you having me on, and I'm glad I was able to get to know you, you know, on your journey, as well as my journey, man. You know, that's the one thing that I appreciate about this process and this industry at this point, more than anything. Like, you know, the awesome people that you meet and the connections and friendships you build and everything like that. So, congrats, bro. Congrats, big congratulations on that.
Hey, man, thank you, man. Because you know how long you've been going on 4 years too, right?
Yeah. We're going on. We started. What was it? June 2024, 2020. So, even though, like, I tell everybody, like, that's been on the show, like, you know, I've had the idea for the Beeline since 2010, and it's like I never fully did anything until, you know, this time where I started. I just picked up a microphone and said, "Hey, I'm just going to start doing something." And then, transition into what we got now, man. How was it for you to start? Like, you know, what kind of kicked it in for you? I never asked you.
Yeah. Like, man, the whole journey with it for podcasting for me was I always knew, like, you know, I wanted to do something, and it's so interesting, you know, when I tell the story now because, obviously, you know, last year my brother was a big reason, you know, why I got into it. And I saw him do it first. He put out a couple of videos and I was like, you know, I like that. I like that. That's something similar what I was, you know, wanted to do, but I didn't know how. I mean, I ain't had no money to put on a computer, and then life at that point, man, I was just it wasn't I ain't gonna, you know, like every day was a blessing, but it was just trying to get by. You know, it was just like I
Yeah.
felt lost, you know, just complacent in society or whatever. So I always had this idea as well because I had a buddy who, used to stay with me for a time, and I used to share with him, or just me and him being in the room, and what were we watching Monday Night Raw, or were we watching, some other television show, or stuff like that, and we had, some kind of real cool conversations, and I was like, man, yo, man, would it be dope? And we had a camera, put a camera right here and just record, man, and just go with it.
Yeah, yeah,
And for him it was, I guess 50-50, but not really. But me, I was like,
yeah,
man, that's I feel like that's it. And also I'm what I know one thing that inspires me a lot to see is people, who start from the bottom and make their way up,
yeah,
and when social media was really kicking off, guys like, for example, DC Young Fly, when he started out, he was just doing, the whole sketch and comedies on social media, Facebook or whatever, or just a bunch of guys though, and just seeing how they elevated and used social media for to get their stuff out there. And for me, like I said, man, I just wanted to do it, and he didn't necessarily see it. And when I started to get into podcasting, I started, and one before that, my sister had moved out, so it was like everybody had just moved out of my place. I was living with my sister, my brother was living here, my my boy that I was just telling you about the story. He was here, and it was just like I just had a clear moment, and
yeah.
things just started coming to me, and I started looking at these motivational videos and stuff, and starting to believe in myself. And also, I heard one thing that people is not going to see your vision. People are not going to
Mm,
see the goal. It was meant for you is meant for you. So I was like, damn, man, it'd have been cool if, we would have sort of, done the podcast, I guess, together. But it was like, well, I guess this was for me. And, what's for
yeah.
you is just what's for you. And my brother gave me this computer, and I just started going on, and people started, seeing what I was, I guess, started seeing what I was, doing, and
What you were
started
doing, yeah.
supporting me. Yeah, started
That
supporting me.
it's always crazy to hear. I don't know if you feel, well, you probably feel the same, but it's always crazy to hear other people's beginning stories with what they're, whatever they're into. It doesn't just have to be podcasting. It could be people playing basketball, people cooking, whatever, becoming a chef. It's always interesting because like the things that you say and you express, like where you drew your inspiration from, or the challenges that you had at the beginning, or even the people that were surrounded by you that may have kind of intrigued you a little bit more. Because I know that was one thing that I was really looking at. Like I really wanted, when I first started like thinking about doing this, I thought it was going to be me. I thought it was going to be an easy process where it was just like, yeah, put some stuff on social media, like you said, like kind of just build a connection. But I was kind of falling out of social media. I would just post like some quotes or whatever. Oh, I had a rough day and all that shit or whatever. Nothing like crazy. But when I really started thinking, like, damn, maybe I should just use it a little bit more. Like, maybe I should use it to kind of just, like, fully give my opinions to stuff happening and, my viewpoints on things that are happening. And, I came from a lot of, fun people. Like, we had barbecues and a lot of rough stuff, too. So it was like, I wanted to engage with that. I wanted to lead with that, like all the crazy, funny stories that we had and everything. And I wanted my boy to come on and we like kind of partner up and do it. Like I'm like, yo, we laugh, we make people laugh everywhere we go. Let's do it together. You know what I mean? Like it could be
Yeah,
phenomenal. But like you said, man, I think that part of this journey is kind of finding yourself as well individually, and that's really what like I can appreciate about like the Beeline now. Like it started with a vision that I had that I didn't even know what it was. It sounds like just the same thing for you. And then it
yeah,
was like it just grew through trial and tribulations and everything, like problems or whatever. Learning from your mistakes, and then it just grew into something that, wait a minute, this is what it's supposed to be, bro. And it's crazy to look back at your not finished product, but your evolved product or whatever. And
yeah.
for you, it's 4 years in the making, man. And it sounds like, you look at your production work and you look at your editing and even like your thumbnails and everything is captivating. You know what I mean? Like everything kind of draws you in. That's one thing that I always noticed about your show. The things that you do draws people into it. It's intriguing. It's like, wait a minute, who is that? It looks, you got all the detail, you got all the information. And you're like, man, maybe I do want to check this out. Maybe it is something. You got the music in the back. All of that shit is important to draw attention, man. And you definitely have that with the 1130 podcast. So, like I said, man, it's inspiring, bro. I'm also, just to be real with you, there was a couple of times where it's like, before we like really met, like we were talking, I'm like, I looked at this show for inspiration. I was like, holy shit, like this guy's, he's been doing this for a little while. Because at the beginning, remember, there were so many shows that were just popping up.
Yeah.
And it's like, everybody had a podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody had something. Everybody with a damn camera, thought they had something to say. But it was like, some of them was corny as shit. And like, some people like really had no personality and stuff. And so it was like, when I saw your show, I was like, like here's something I can strive. Like this guy looks like he's putting it together. You had the stuff on the bottom and the scroll, like a fucking news report. And I was like, I don't even know how you do all that. But it motivated me. So I ain't gonna lie, the 1130 podcast definitely motivated the Beeline ENT, bro. So I definitely always remember that. Yeah, you've been killing it, Dre. You've been killing it, bro.
I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. And you talked about, finding yourself, man. And throughout the podcast, I think, along the way of these last 4 years of finding myself, because before this, man, I couldn't tell you if I wanted to talk in front of people or I told people how nervous I always am, before the podcast and stuff. So yeah, and that was one thing that I had gotten a lot though about posting clips and stuff, and I just had a vision and knowing what I wanted to do, but also like what inspires me too is the feedback like that, and just that motivates me, because I had a lot of people always be like, yo man, how you do this and do that, and I love to share it, because if you keep it in, I feel like that's selfish. You feel
you're right. You're right.
Share all this information so other people can come up, because I seen what you doing from the Beeline Entertainment or Forum straight through the ropes and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I love it. You feel me? Because I think that's not only just a win for you, but a win for all of us. Seeing black brothers and black other podcasters, come up and do stuff. I think that's important.
Definitely all the way too. I mean, just looking at that aspect for the culture and everything, yeah, for sure, man. And I've never been one of them type of people with this, especially to where you can be competitive. I mean, I don't really see the reason for it in this kind of field, podcasting. You can be competitive as far as I don't know, trying to talk about stuff different than other people. That's why, like we said, it's not really a way to really hold back. Like, oh no, I'm gonna not help this person. I'm gonna not share this person's content because of whatever. I don't know. We're not going for like the same position in a job. Like, it's an open field, man. Like, your presence and your speaking and your things is only going to help, because if people are interested in what you're doing, they may be interested in what I'm doing. You're going to grow that audience. So why not connect and build instead of tearing down and selfishly withholding information and I know how to do this, now you won't know how to do it and shit. Okay, well if that makes you feel good, like but if you notice, like, one of the biggest things, especially with us, man, from the commission talks to the wrestling podcast to even us just being on each other's shows, the parenting talks, like, we've had so many connecting moments. You feel me? Like, especially this year alone, man. This year has been unbelievable with, like, the people that I've met, and I talk about it all the time. Like, people that I've met, whether it be, really big, opportunities that you look and get lost in the opportunity and what it could potentially be, but you don't pay attention to what it is and what's happening and the hazardous shit that's involved in the right now. And I had to learn a lot, man. I had to learn. This year has been really, really eye-opening for me. like we just said, finding ourselves. I really feel like this year I fully found out what I want to do in almost every single way. I'm still learning how to do it, but I think I know exactly what I'm doing with this shit now. I mean, it'll still probably change in some ways, but I definitely feel like I have the direct, like I have the map, but I just have to kind of like, find out how to get to the destination and shit. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's been incredible, man. But, yeah, yeah,
I
happy
dig it.
fourth, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it once again. Thank you, man. And we speaking of finding yourself, and also we was having this conversation on commission talks. I believe last week, our season finale episode, which we will return for the Royal Rumble.
Right.
We was having some dad talk, and I'm a dad, and little man, he's one, and his first Christmas and all that. What was the moment
Yeah.
that you found? What was the moment that you got in the groove and you felt like you found yourself as a dad? Because I feel like I got it down packed now. I mean, I'm still working on, you know, I guess when he be having these temper tantrums,
Oh
and he
yeah.
like playing with the broom. So I guess if you take the broom away from him, he just go nuts, man. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to find what my emotions there, but I changing pampers and knowing if you're hungry here and there. I think I'm getting it down pat. But yeah, what was the moment I feel like
Yeah.
you found yourself?
For me, it was a little different. It was a little different because I grew up kind of like we always had a lot of kids around. If it wasn't my cousins and stuff like that, I still had my nieces after that, and then I had my son, and then and so it's like even when I was little, my little godson, my godbrother, Sean, he was always coming to the house. My parents would go and pick him up, so we'd be playing with him. I was like, what, 9, 10, or yeah, I had like 10 or 11 at that time. So I was, changing his diapers and stuff like that, playing around. So certain things with like parenthood, it kind of, it kind of came with me. Like it wasn't like super fresh. Like, I was changing diapers here and there. Like my niece came, an Asian, and then my other niece, then my other niece. And I'm like, all right. So every now and then I'm changing a diaper, watching them. So
So it
it's
was kind
like,
of easy for you in the beginning, though.
it was like a transition, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's still like I had to, go through a lot of stuff with my, first child, just like to be with him and stuff. It gets by the fact of move and do all of this stuff. And, one thing that I can say is even though me and his mom weren't together like at all during his like life, basically, um, I was always apart because what happened is I would work at night, she would work in the daytime, so I would always have him. So I'd be watching him during the day, and then she'd come home, and then she'd pick him up before I got to go to work at night, and then we pretty much switch off on weekends and stuff like that. So I was never like a dad that didn't have his kid. Like I had my son like my whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would say that when I really just kind of felt comfortable as far as being a dad, I don't know, man. It literally kind of just mellowed in. Like it just fell in place. Like I watched him. I got pictures of holding, sleeping on the couch with him and stuff, and like sometimes he gets
Yeah.
flipped out. But I always had like my mom's was around too, and certain things. So I was never like fully alone. Um, and I was never too stressed out, but I can definitely say that now, like, I got 3 kids now, and trust me, even today, like I had like a weird day where I'm still trying to figure out how to engage with my kids during the different time spans, man. Like, because they're teenagers now, and
Mm.
and dealing with my son, and their transitions and stuff like that. Even though I'm like aware, like, oh, when they get older, they're gonna be this, and I've been preaching this shit forever. But it's like going through it. It's a different story. Like, you don't know how to handle these kids, man, and it's difficult. And if you're somebody like me, like who's like I'm rough, bro. I'm a little rough. You know what I mean? But it's like it's difficult because there'll be times I'm like, yo, sit your ass down. I don't care about that shit. And then I got my fiance over here. She's like, yo, babe, you gotta make sure you're paying attention and you gotta talk to them because you don't want them to. And I'm like, damn, I know you're right, but it's like, man, fuck all of that, bro. 'Cause it gets challenging, bro. So
Okay.
I mean,
The engaging part that you mean, and meaning like trying to just I guess talk to them something, on their level, I guess.
Just to talk in general, man. Like you'll never. I've had enemies, I guess, like people that you wanted to fight and shit. Like it's clear, you know what I mean? Like I don't like your ass, and that's what it is. But when you have this situation where it's like it's a person that you love, and you're like, and but they drive you like yo, do this, do that, and do this. Here, three simple things, get it done, do what you want, you good. And they can't do that shit for whatever reason. They can't do it, or they won't do it, or they do it, but they do it in a way where it's not really done, and just anything, and you don't want to take it personally, but it's like I don't know how else to take it. Shit's so simple, you feel me? And Greg,
Yeah.
you gonna go through it too, bro. You
Hey,
gonna go through it too. It's
Hey,
crazy,
yes,
yo.
hey, the other day, man, like he was just going through everything, whether he wanted to get in the trash can, go into the washing machine, the dryer. He
Yeah.
want to go mess with the cat food. He like taking the cat food, his food, and turning the bowl upside down and just letting
Yeah.
it waste all over the floor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then when he get his cup, it just shake it up, turn it upside down, and have water trails all on the floor. And then he crying when he slip and fall and hurt himself. So it's just like, yo, it's like it's crazy because
Yeah.
people at one point people was like, man, you gotta have another one, you gotta have another one. I'm like, you know what, man, look, he is enough right here. And
It's a
then he's a
lot.
boy, so a boy,
Yeah.
man, they got a lot of energy and stuff. So man, oh
Yeah.
man, I don't even know where to begin with that one though. But
Yeah.
yeah, being a dad and a father, I think is very important. Very important. That
Yeah.
I think is underestimated because a lot of dads, are not there for certain circumstances though. But
Yeah.
I
It's
think
true, man.
for the ones that are there, man, and have their kids, it means a whole lot. So
Yeah.
I
It
got
is.
go ahead, no, go
It,
ahead.
just to say, like to piggyback up what you're saying, like there are dads who aren't there. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I think it's because when you really think about it, like dads are the ones with the most options. I'd say the moms carry the baby. You feel me? So it's like just by being a part of them and them having to be a part of them for like almost a year, and you're sitting here growing this thing inside of you and shit like that, whatever, and having all this bonding and all this stuff that you develop from that and your hormones, emotions, whatever, chemical imbalance, whatever that it is that scientifically, whatever, biology, whatever you're building with that connection with that being inside of you, your options are less. All right, because you made this thing, like what I'm saying. Then you gotta push it out and go through the process. After that, you do have options, like if you want to go to, I want to just give them up for adoption or blah blah blah, this and that. You got a couple options, but dads, we literally have the opportunity to say, "Fuck everything, I'm out." That is the worst, in my opinion, that's the worst thing to do. But just speaking honesty, like, we do have that option. We do have the option to say this is too difficult, it's too challenging, it's too involved with my current situation. I didn't see anything of this. I don't want nothing to do with it. Even after the pregnancy, like, you know what I'm saying? Even after the birth, like, there's some people that's like, I just can't deal with this. I'm just not built for this. I didn't know what to expect. And you have an option a little bit more than a woman, in my opinion, to say, I'm just going dipset and let that experience continue without my engagement because I'm not ready for it. That's the shittiest thing to me. You know what I mean? I would
Yeah,
never do
yeah,
that. But
yeah,
I understand why it happens, man. And I'm not saying I agree with it, but I do understand. I do understand the possibility. I understand all of that. But like you said, man, it's the ones who do stick around, and it is the right thing to do, or whatever. You can say that, well, it's the right, you're supposed to anyway. Yeah, you are supposed to, but you can fucking leave. So the ones
yeah,
who do stick around and really put forth that effort to be a role model, to be an example, to be responsible, to have all of these things that you do for your child, so you can build them and develop them the best of your ability. You know what I'm saying? It's like that shit is incredibly important, man, and it's so
yeah,
much
man.
more beneficial. I believe in development for future engagement with people, scenarios,
Mm,
relationships, everything, man.
you
So
right.
Shout
You
out to
so
dads,
right.
bro. We get a
Definitely,
lot of shit. We
definitely,
get a
definitely.
lot of shit.
Yeah, yes, and I was just having this conversation with my fiance the other day. Just how women, man, just what, man, from birthing and just carrying a baby and just
Yeah,
just get all the credit. But for the dads out there, shout out to the dads that want to be in their kids like, and that is though, because the story
yeah,
that you told me, like you said your kids were moving down to another state, and you was like, "Fuck that, man! I'm going with them." Like
right
so.
there.
I know growing up, my mom always told me, if I ever have a kid, you ever have a kid, take kid, because my biological father wasn't in my life, so it was always adamant. And not only that, man, I once again never thought I had a kid, so it was like yo, and I told her the other day, it was like from the first 9 months, although we went to the doctors, the heartbeat, get a heartbeat, and all that stuff, it just didn't seem real until the
Yeah,
actual day
till it happens.
yeah,
Yeah,
until she pulled him out, and you heard him cry, and it was just like what, like
I tell you.
it just didn't feel real. So but
Yeah,
yeah, shout out to the dads, man. I think it's imperative, like I said, in the long run, for young men, young boys, definitely growing up to be men, in the world and society. I think it plays a huge factor, you
it
know
does.
uh,
I think so
with
too. Yeah,
yeah, I appreciate that, man. For real, definitely appreciate that. The year's ending, man. We got
yeah.
Christmas around the corner. Any special plans? Anything planned for Christmas?
Not really, not really. Yeah, I'm not really doing too much with the holidays this year, man. I'm really kind of setting back. Like, me and my girl, we kind of have different, relationships to the holidays, and we're trying to mesh together. And I'm kind of, kids are getting a little older, so I'm trying to see what I can compromise more with and things like that as well. Learning a little more, doing a little bit more spiritual connection and stuff like that. So it's like it's been a little weird, but not that much, not as much as I thought it would be. Actually, probably because I'm in a lot of transitionary periods right now, so it's like the holidays have always been, one of the biggest things. I love, Home Alone and watching my movies. I still like, do it here and there, but
Yeah,
yeah, I'm just I'm kind of seeing where life goes right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to just let everything build up. The kids, they constantly being fed, this and that, giving them stuff all the time. So I don't think we're missing out too much this year. But how about you? You got anything going on?
we were supposed to be hitting over family house, and just enjoying the other half later on in that day for Christmas. And other
Yeah,
than that, man, got the gifts actually over here in the corner, so it's actually a surreal moment, because I remember when I was little, and
bro.
getting Christmas gifts and stuff like that. Question I want
Yeah.
to ask you before I do forget, move on though. Did you buy all the gifts, or did Santa buy the gifts?
That changed. That changed because when I did it with my son, and even for my daughter, it's always been me. But when I did it with my son, I did do the Santa Claus thing for a little bit. But honestly, his mom didn't. So it was kind of weird because he still kind of had like the Santa Claus talk and everything like that or whatever, and he still kind of wanted to believe in it. I think he wanted to, but his mom didn't do the Santa Claus thing. So it was like I was kind of doing it, and then she wouldn't do it. So it was kind of just awkward. So I kind of just bow out. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of just bowed out. I had the whole Santa Claus and the kids ate the cookies, the milk, that shit, whatever. We had that for a while until we got like probably like 10 or 11 or whatever, and then we started to. Okay, well, we understand the real process. Me and my sister also started finding the gifts and shit like that, so we kind of
Hey,
up on it.
that was me when I
Yeah.
was little. I
Oh
used
yeah, we
to
found all that shit.
go in the closet. I was like, man, what are they doing? They're taking all those boxes in the room, and as
Mm,
soon as they go upstairs, peeking in there, if my mother see this, if she watch the podcast, I think I told her this story, but if not, though, I was like, oh, we got a PlayStation, we
yup,
can't wait, but
yup.
yeah, man, like
I
the
found
other
all
day.
that shit.
Exactly. The other day was fiance said, she said fuck Santa and shit. I'm broke. Mommy bought you all these dang on gifts
Bro,
though. But I, I do understand this sense of belief. Let them be kids or whatnot though. But
yeah,
he's just one right now. So you know.
yeah, he'll go through it. I mean, it's a preference, man. I mean, it's still cool to like just let them engage and whatever you want to have fun with. But at the end of the day, it's like I definitely do understand parents who are like, listen, I went through all this hell to go on, bust my ass to, give you this special stuff or whatever on this day just to try to make you, you know what I'm saying? It still isn't nothing like when you're just sitting there and just anticipating waking up and opening all your presents and stuff. That shit is amazing. Like, but at the same time, it's just, I do understand. I did the same thing. Like, listen, James, his daddy got you all things he wanted to get. Now, pretty much, I just ask him, like, what you want? Like, you tell me exactly what you want, the biggest thing you want, and I'll go and
Yeah.
grab it for him. One year we even went, I think it was like a Black Friday, and I went and they had Xboxes on, so that's when I bought him his Xbox, and I was like, hey, you want the Xbox right now? This would be your Christmas present. I'm just letting you know right now. But I usually still
Mm.
get a bunch of shit anyway. I mean, we grew up having a lot. Like, we was spoiled. We got a whole
Man.
bunch,
It
whole
wasn't
bunch of
even
shit.
till I got with my fiance, man, and they put, Christmas, man, was awesome, growing up. It was until like maybe, I want to say 15, 16 ish, a little
Yeah,
bit. It was
yeah.
like, all right, you're old enough, you get, the stuff that you actually need. And you'll
Hmm.
get, some stuff that, you ask for, whether it's a Xbox or more so a PlayStation or whatever,
Oh
case
yeah.
may be though. But, you know, uh, getting older, and having the whole full Christmas tree to be packed, and you like 20, 21, 22, that was
Bro,
unheard of. So
I'm
when I get
telling
over
you.
her crib, man, for the first time and Christmas, I was like, "Are you fucking serious, man? Y'all are going crazy!" Oh man, but yeah, man, like
Yeah, it's a lot of
like,
fun though, man.
it
Yeah, we
is.
used to go. We used to go to my aunt's house in Jersey, my aunt Janet, and we used to go over her house. And she had a Christmas party every year, and she lived right next to like Six Flags in Jersey. So it was like a secluded area. It wasn't really too much going on. So it was like we had a nice party, food. I remember I was a little kid, and we always go over there, a whole bunch of food, snacks, and then we like change gifts and stuff like that, and play games, we play Taboo, and then we watch like home videos, like old videos of us and like my cousins and stuff like that. And I remember like we would try to go to sleep, like at later on in the night while we're at
Yeah.
the party, like because we know we wake up in the morning, it's a wrap. So like it's just little things like that that I remember all like stuff that we used to do and like just how fun it was, man. It was just so much. It was just such a good time, man. And
Yeah.
but yeah, we still love it. It's just nowadays like things are just changing so much. You know what I mean? Like, there's still a lot of the aspect, and it might just be my life, but it's the engagement is so much different. My families and stuff like that. I usually go to my mom's house when I'm doing like the holidays stuff like that or whatever. Um, my son he sometimes goes to his parents' house and stuff like that. And then my two daughters they don't really do anything because they're with their moms most of the time and stuff like that. So it's just different now, man. I don't know. Even like with Halloween. Like Halloween used to be one that we used to do when we were little, like it was big. But even now, it's like it doesn't seem like it gets the same kind of attention. Like you still got people who go out and go to parties and stuff like that, or Six Flags. But as far as like the trick or treating, man, it just seems so different every year now. Like from what I remember, at least.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with you, man. Times have changed and things, definitely seen, a lot different though. Like I just, was saying, it's 2023, the end of the year. There's some crazy moments throughout
Mm,
this whole year, just in general, man. One new story though that I think captivated, TikTok. I'm pretty sure you may have saw it though. You the Carly Russell story. The Carly Russell story with a lady, I think she was a nurse, a doctor, and
yeah,
she had got she called the police, said she saw someone on the highway, and for a while my fiance, bit into the story real hard. And I was,
yeah,
and she be staying on TikTok. So I kind of like I asked her, like, what's on TikTok? What people talking about? So when she brought it to my attention, I was just like, well, that shit don't sound right. Like black girl
yeah.
going on the highway, calling the police that she saw a baby walking. I'm like, well, for one, because a lot of people pointed to trafficking in the beginning,
Oh yeah, yeah,
thinking
I
that,
know.
so what was your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I think I even told my girl. I told fiance I was like, listen, that's not this. She sounds full of shit, yo. And I forgot what part of it I came in on but I remember hearing like parts of the story, and I'm like, she got kidnapped on the side of the highway. She saw somebody walking, or saw something walking, and then the video footage came out, and it was all the way up in the air, and you ain't see nothing. And then it was like more and more in the story. I was like, either she gonna be in some shit, or is she definitely gonna be lying? This stuff don't even make sense. So I was kind of already just ready to be done with her, and I was telling other people already that she kidnapped herself.
See, you know what? That's crazy because I didn't even come up
Goofy
with that
ass.
until afterwards. I was like, man, like, is this a Jussie Smollett, part two or
That's
what?
you
Like,
think.
yeah,
Yep.
like I wouldn't think, that I started, seeing more videos. I was like, nah, Shawty, man, she made the whole shit up, and I'm like, really,
Yeah.
like,
She's
really,
fucking
man, like
crazy, bro.
hey, bro, man, like it's some crazy stuff, man, crazy
Yeah,
moments.
it's interesting too because there is I don't know, bro. I think you were on the show where I've had a conversation with somebody I forgot. Where I was just telling people how I don't know what to believe anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear so many different things, and so many different things are going on, but people are also full of crap, and it's like they have so many different avenues now to put their crap forward, and everybody just sits there and even if it's bullshit, you're already believing it. There's probably still people out there who think she's kidnapped somewhere because they didn't hear the closing stories or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's like we don't never fully know the story. We just know part of the story, and then you run with it. A lot of times, you don't even try to get the closure from it or do any research or anything. You just hear something, and then it rings out. And then maybe 10 years later, you'll hear, "Oh wait, that girl wasn't kidnapped. I went my whole life thinking she was." So it's like nobody knows what to believe, man. There's so many different things that you can believe. What was the last thing that happened like this year? Something recent had just happened where it was like everybody was. I know the whole Diddy and Cassie, and then you had the Will Smith and Dwayne Martin, and you don't
yeah,
know what to
yeah.
believe, man. These people just come out and just say some shit, and then these people's fucking careers. Oh, that's what I was thinking about the Jonathan Majors shit because him and his girl, they were sitting there saying that they were arguing and he had put hands on her and all this other shit. But then it was coming out, that she actually was putting hands on him and he didn't do anything. And then he basically got fired from Disney and projects he was working on. And I'm like, well, at this point, he's getting fired on speculation. He's not even
Mhm.
getting fired and terminated because of, documented evidence or a court case that fucking was ruled against him. He's just getting fired off of the hearsay. And that shit right there alone is crazy, bro. Because that can happen to
Yeah.
anybody. That shit can happen to anybody, and to be able just to be, crucified just because of what somebody said, and it just is available to hit on so many different platforms and avenues. But that really speaks on the times, man. And now they're coming out like they got other videos where it's showing they did have like an altercation in a truck. I don't know. I saw him running at one point. She's chasing him. Then she just looked like a fucking comedy sketch.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna side with the women. The speculation they're gonna side with the women. So
For the
him
most
getting
part,
fired and stuff. So I think that is definitely crazy, man. With
yeah.
the year itself, man. It was another story that had people going crazy. I don't know if you saw the story that happened in Chicago at the curry out where the woman was ordering some food and uh, she was ordering some food and a guy was in there with her, but the son
Yeah.
came in to defend herself.
Yup. I
Yeah,
saw that
yeah,
shit. Yeah,
yeah,
that's another crazy one. You're right.
yeah.
Yeah, the girl was ordering food, like a chicken shack or something like that, and the
Hmm.
guy was being real aggressive. And at one point, he had said, I think he said something like, "Oh, you better shut up, I'm gonna rock you or something, punch you in your face." And he hit her. And the son
Hmm.
came in from the car and grabbed the gun out the car and shot his ass. And then they
Yeah,
fucking, try to sit there and persecute the son. And like you just said, bro, like all that evidence, all that documentation, man, you want to be the one who's like, nah, the son, let him go and all that shit. And you're right to a degree. But at the same time, you also do have to make sure you are covering all boundaries and like, hey, listen, it does look like you're justified. We're definitely going to make sure you're justified. So we do got to go to court. We do got to do all the procedures and everything like that. Because at the end of the day, you can't just be fucking wild, wild westing it out here. Like,
yeah,
you hit my mom, you're dead. Like, you do got to, make sure you're doing, the proper, the handling it properly. But with that situation right there, let me tell you something. That boy went and tried to protect his mother from somebody who was assaulting her. Listen, I don't know what you gotta say. You know,
Hey,
you want to talk about it in
hey,
court? Talk about that shit. But he did the right thing in my fucking book.
yeah.
So
Hey, look here. I said that a bunch of times, dog. Like he was protecting his mom. He was
yeah,
standing up for his mother. Obviously, he was. Yeah, he did say something about get your food and hurry up, and she
yeah.
said something else and hit her like dog. But hey, man, look here. And it was some crazy moments, and just how you said, you don't know what to believe on the internet now because people
Yeah.
will put stuff out literally just for clicks and
Attention.
views
Yeah.
or attention. So yeah, man, crazy, crazy, crazy moments though. Just crazy
Yo,
moments in general.
shout out to
Go.
you real quick too. My bad. Shout out to you real quick too for telling me about that movie on Netflix. What is
All
it?
right. Hey, what you think about it? I gotta hear what you think about it. Leave the world
It
behind.
was Leave the World Behind. Yeah, it was. Listen, the movie itself is actually it's really good as far as like the concepts and everything like that. I'm not a fan of how Netflix ends their movies, man. Netflix got this thing with ending their movies in a certain way, and I'm just not a fan. But it's
Mhm.
definitely worth the watch for like just the experience of the potential of damn, is that out there? Is this so it's like just seeing and if you understand stuff like that too, it's even more like of an experience because there's so much out here, bro, that we just think that we know what's going on, even with all of this information. And I'm a firm believer that nobody don't got a clue what really is really going on in this world, in this planet, this universe, even. I mean, I like the older I get, the more I'm starting to think that a lot of shit that we're told and supposed to believe is absolutely like different.
Yeah, I 100%
It's
agree.
crazy.
One 100% agree. The movie. When I first watched it, I watched it twice though. When I first watched it, uh, I was doing something, so I think that played a factor into it. But when I
Yeah.
went back and watched it, I still felt the same way, But I sort of understood it, but I was like, oh, why the hell they ended like that?
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
just all of it, far as like the self-driving cars, clogging up the highways,
It's really
which was
fucking
like,
crazy.
which was mind-boggling too, because it's like, oh wow, so in the event of that nature, like damn, the self-driving cars and all these, technology is definitely
Yeah.
crazy. But then also, it played into a little question, answer that I uh, responded on the commission talk when you guys talked about technology and the little
Yeah.
girl. And the little girl, I never seen the TV show Friends, and she wanted to watch that show, like a mud. And when I took out of it the first time, when I went from the second time when I went back and watched it and seen how observant she was, although that she could not watch her shows,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
I took it from the first time, as a kid, you give them the tablet, cause shit, my niece was like that when she was living at one point. Uncle Jay, the Wi-Fi went out. She had bust in the room. Wi-Fi went out. Storm back in the living room. You know how kids do, and they just get so
Oh yeah.
bored, like they ain't got no life, and when the Wi-Fi go
Yeah.
out. So yeah, but it was a cool movie, definitely a cool movie though. But a lot of people talk about the ending though, how it ended.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's interesting, bro, but it's definitely worth the watch, especially with the times that we're in now, and just kind of the engagement with the world and technology, like you said, man. Just to understand the level of control that is had, by just everyone. Like, if anything does happen, like, there's so many different effects that can happen from simple things. Like, if the power just goes out, man, like, the amount of chaos that will happen after people realize, like, wait a minute, this shit really ain't coming back on for, you know what I'm saying? Like, the chaos from that alone it's devastating to understand that something that simple can take you fucking. They got a big portion of the population, man. You know.
And they got another movie coming out before we move on. They got another movie coming out next year. And in the actual movie, it was like three parts. It was like I know it was the flood, the curve,
Yeah.
Civil War, or whatever like that. But at the end, they were talking about, Civil War, and I feel like the part two to that movie is the one that's coming out next
I
year. That's
I saw
called.
that. Yeah,
Have you seen the trailer? Yeah,
yeah,
Civil
yeah.
War. So I don't know, just some speculations or whatnot.
Trying to tell us some
Um,
shit, bro. Trying to
exactly.
leave us closed.
That's what I said because Michelle Obama and Obama, Barack Obama was the producers from the movie. So I was like, these motherfuckers trying to tell us something. I don't know what it is though, but they trying to tell us something though.
Dre, you want to know something though? On some real shit, yo. We old enough to kind of know this shit too. This is the same thing I remember from my past. This is the same shit that people said when Independence Day and Deep Impact and Armageddon and people were
Yeah,
saying the same thing. Like, oh, they're trying to show us. And I'm not gonna lie. Like, I definitely believe that they are. Like, even with like the when COVID was happening, you had all the sickness movies and all that shit or whatever. Like, I think that there's definitely, the movies and stuff like that are being depicted by the times, man. And with the times, it's like they're trying to tell you something because that's what's going on. Like, I do think that there are some speculative things that people do, or whatever you call it, like, some Easter eggs or whatever you want to throw in to kind of give you like an understanding of where things could potentially be, whether it be fiction, but you think it's fiction, but it's really nonfiction. You just don't know about it or whatever. It's a lot. It's a lot with it, but I do think that we always kind of relate this because I remember back in the day where there's an asteroid coming, and we were watching movies like Impact and Deep Impact. There was a movie called Volcano back in the day with Tommy Lee Jones, and it was like something like that. They were talking about with volcanoes. Remember all the movies, Dante's Peak, and
yeah,
all of that shit coming up. It's just weird, man. It's like this motherfucker can be taken out at any time from any
yeah,
kind of situation at any time. It's like if it is
yeah,
Civil War, I mean, it's crazy, bro. I don't know, but
yeah. I
we'll see,
I agree.
man.
We definitely will see. We definitely will see. All right, you guys, man, we're gonna move the show on here. On this 4 year anniversary episode. But it's time, you guys. It's time for the WTF moment of the week, you guys. All right. WTF moment of the week. Usually, lately I've been keeping the WTF moment to the, closing of the show. But man, I got a WTF moment that I share it now. Man, if you got one, you could, definitely chime in though. But my WTF moment, I think I heard it yesterday. We both wrestling guys. Have you heard about shit, her name was just on the tip of my what's her name? Liv Morgan. Liv
Yeah,
Morgan from WWE was suspended from
yeah,
duty violation, and I'm like, hold up, wait a minute, I know Matt Riddle used to puff, but
yeah.
what's definitely going on here?
I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of dudes, man. Because if you know, like, a lot of people have engaged in it. From what I've heard, like at one point, I forgot what wrestler said it, but like the whole back room is smoking or whatever, and shit like that. Which I can
No, no,
imagine. You know
no.
what I'm saying?
I think she was arrested on possession. I think that's
Yeah.
what it was.
She was arrested on possession, and then more information was coming out, and people were saying, but here we go, people are saying, whoever the fuck that is, that she is probable that she could be trying to take the fall for somebody. Now, since we don't know, we can't grill her for it, but we can speculate and say if that is true, and she's over here trying to take the fall for her boyfriend or her man. She out of her fucking mind, bro. And if her man even let her do some shit like that, knowing her status and her caliber, and you're gonna sit there and try to do this because to save your own ass, if it's your, if that's true, Liv Morgan is a WWE superstar, man. She's got a lot of potential. She's definitely somebody who's been in the company for a while now. And if you're gonna sit here and allow your girl to go down with the ship just to save your ass, I feel like the people that she chooses to be in her life is very fucking, is very suspect and definitely ain't really beneficial for her. And, I hope she, gets her situation together. I mean, she's young, she's a beautiful girl, and she's definitely got potential. I think there's more room for Liv Morgan to really grow with WWE, and I don't think we've seen all from her yet. But if this is the kind of shit she's going to be involved in it, and no hate to her because, look at the Usos and, there's been so many motherfuckers like Jeff Hardy and Ric Flair, and there's been a lot of people who've been taking that walk of shame. But, just hopefully she takes this and says, man, fuck this shit. I ain't dealing with this no more.
Yeah, just all those speculations. If that's the case, the push that she was giving or was receiving, I feel like that would be over. But if
Yeah,
that's the case, I don't know, man. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff over the last couple of years, man, with superstars who had the highly great potential within the company or just in the business, man, and just it just was a total flop. It just didn't,
yeah.
work out.
Life gets in the way.
Whether
Yeah.
life gets in the way or something like that, and I think one person comes to mind is Velveteen Dream. Do you remember Velveteen
Mm,
Dream? Velveteen Dream was
exactly.
from Washington D.C. Supported the dude. I remember going to a show at Capital One Arena, and his mom. This was when the last season of Tough Enough, and it was very different though. But his mom was passing out flyers, and everything, and support my son Patrick. That's what his name. And
Mm,
he got the NXT, and everything like that. And he was Leo Rush's tag team partner in Maryland Championship Wrestling. So that was real
gotcha. Okay.
cool in the independents, and they worked a couple times at NXT, the black and gold version. But yeah, that was a big flop in seeing how things went from him because even John Cena was like, man, I would love to work with him at WrestleMania. So just like you said, speculations if that's the case with Liv Morgan. I would hope not, knowing that everything, what's at stake and who you are and what you represent. That wouldn't, that would far from be from the truth.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're smoking, you're smoking. Like, it is what it
Yeah,
is. They
yeah,
caught you on some
yeah.
shit. It is what it is. Like, but if it is something where you over there taking a fall, and like we said, just to state it a lot. Like, if that's what we hear. If that's the case, but if it's just she got hit, and she got caught with some shit on her. I mean, to me, that's a lot less than like, oh, you got something involved. Where if you were just smoking, you just had the shit on you, and then people caught you with it. I mean, that's sucks, you know what I mean? Because you doing your shit, ain't nothing. You making money, you doing what you got to do. You taking it for paying purposes, whatever. If you don't got the right papers on you or whatever. But yeah, the other stuff that I'm hearing, like with the if she went down for somebody else, or who knows what the hell they had, or how many pounds they had, or whatever the fuck they had, you know. I don't know. So hopefully she's not caught up in no really bad predicament. Velveteen Dream was definitely unfortunate because his situation was that was another thing. Like we were just talking about Jonathan Majors, because didn't he get cleared? What didn't they say? Was they found out that it wasn't the truth, or the person was
I,
like lying on him or some shit?
I don't know. I don't know if I ever heard anything, following that. It just seems though once that happened, uh, everything for him just spiraled. Things just start
Yeah,
spiraling down. I
he
remember,
had some bad
uh,
shit he was accused of though. Like his shit was real bad.
yeah. His stuff was bad, and around he was not the only one. It was like maybe three or four other guys surrounding his situation
Oh
that
damn,
was
I know that.
accused of like sexual assault or whatever like that. And I know Austin Theory was in, but I know that was I guess proven wrong or whatever. I don't know, but
Oh damn, I didn't hear any of that
yeah,
right there.
yeah.
Damn.
Crazy, man. Crazy times,
Yeah,
man.
too much shit
Yeah,
going
but
on.
speaking of wrestling, man, next week you closing out the year with your big show, the
Yeah.
recap, the ropes, man, going into 2024. 2024 strong, man. Tell the people about it, man, before we roll on out of here, man. Before and anything else you want to add.
Sure, yeah, no, definitely, yeah, man. Once again, thanks for having me on, bro. Really looking forward to the new year with a commission and definitely the wrestle talks and just being on each other's shows. I know you got some stuff that's coming back too. I'm really looking forward to being a part of it. Just to state on the topic here, like I am diving deeper into my career, if you want to call it at that, with content creation, with the Beeline Entertainment. I'm trying to literally just do this for a living as much as I possibly can. Take my life back, from these fucking corporations that is draining us.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But
exactly.
yeah, we doing the STR Awards. This is our first annual ones. Like for those of your listeners who hear this, like STR is straight through the ropes. It's the wrestle talk show that I built on my network, the Beeline Entertainment LLC, and we have a crew with us. My band Slim, my girl Raven, and our girl Lay. All real cool people huge wrestling fans, and we wanted to do an award show to wrap up the end of the year, kind of talk about some of the things and give awards to the people we think, anywhere from the best heel of the year to the best segment of the year to the best faction. And it'll be fun. We're gonna try to dress up a little bit and kind of have some music and find some trophies and shit like that to post out or whatever. And just wanted to try to do something different. You feel me? Like everybody's always going to do like a roundup, and we just trying to be different, man. And as you know, with the commission talks, like we talking about like things we want to do next year. From merch to just we trying to build this shit up, man. And that's really what the goal is going into the new year. We just trying to build up all our brands, and like we were saying earlier, like it ain't nothing competitive. Everything is collaborative, and that's why I'm looking so forward to us even linking STR and Commission, fucking forming some crazy bond, and we all, go off and do this crazy stuff or have like an ultra wrestling show. And I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of stuff that we gonna be experimenting with and having fun with in this future.
Okay. Real fast though, what's the best moment in wrestling of the year? What was the best moment you could think of this year in wrestling?
My favorite moment of wrestling, man, I don't want to think of some recent stuff because it just happened. I enjoyed, I definitely enjoyed a lot of the Bloodline stuff. To an exact moment, I liked when Sami Zayn and them was in the ring, and Jey Uso was trying when he did the Uzi shit, and he was trying to hold in his conversation. They was trying hard. Like I enjoyed them trying to break them and them breaking character and all that stuff. Whatever, I enjoyed that a lot. Sami Zayn with the Bloodline, I would say as a whole, I think that was top Bloodline. Like even with the goofiness, the engagement, the Bloodline was dominant, and it was so engaging. I couldn't wait to watch wrestling every single week to see what was going to happen between Jay and Sammy, to see what was going to happen, if the Usos were still going to hold the titles. Like, that whole thing for me was definitely top notch, man. That shit got me super inspired to continue. So I would say Sami Zayn with the Bloodline was key for me. I was so invested that if Sami Zayn would have beat Roman at that damn whatever with Clash of the Castle, whatever that was, that Elimination Chamber, if he would have beat him, I would have not been mad, yo. I'd have been like, I almost felt justified. I almost for a minute I wanted Sami to go up against Roman for the title. I wanted it. Yeah. I would have watched that match, and if he would have beat him, I'd have stood up my shit and been screaming. Because Sammy owned that shit, bro. He owned that shit.
Yeah, and you right, man. I gotta agree with you, man. The bloodline, definitely took over WWE 2023 shit over the last going on 4 years. So gotta look. I'm interested in seeing what's in store with all of that in 2024. I gotta give the best entrance to Bad Bunny, man, this year. I never seen anything like that, man. And for the man, I'm talking about you're talking about people singing people's songs, whoa, Cody Rhodes, whoa, like that. But man, like that moment and the atmosphere was just like, damn, like
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun to see people enjoying themselves, man.
Yes. All right, man. I appreciate you once again, my guy, man, for coming through here on the 4-year anniversary episode. All the links down below. Everyone definitely subscribe, follow, like, comment, share to the Beeline Entertainment, and check out all of his content, man. For real. Man, like I said, man, appreciate the times. Commission Talk will be back in the new year. And man, just keep killing the thing, man. Keep killing it with the podcast and straight through.
Oh, yeah.
So man, you know it, man. We one call away in the way.
That's it.
So,
that's it. Yeah. We boys now. Shit, it's over with, bro. And once again, Dre, thank you so much for having me on every single show you've had me on. I've done nothing but enjoy every time coming on with you guys and talking like-minded conversation. That's one of the best things. Like I said earlier, man, about this whole process is just speaking with cool ass people, man, and just really being able to vibe out and really get ideas about crazy situations in the world, man. It's like we at the bar, we getting drinks and we chilling, talking shit. I love it, man. I love it. So congratulations, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Once again, man. Definitely appreciate it. Everyone, sit tight. I got another guest coming up. My guy, Laquan John, host of Motivational Motives. Don't go nowhere, man. It's the 4-year anniversary episode of the 1130 podcast, man. Appreciate you, Brian.
Ultimate One from the Chokeslam Wrestling Report, and I'm here to give a happy 4th anniversary to the 1130 podcast. And again, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to network with you guys and being part of your family, man. Continue, keep doing what you guys are doing. You guys are excellent when it comes to the wrestling podcast and whatnot. I love your whole vibe, man, and I wish you nothing but more success in another 10 years in your podcast and whatnot. And hopefully you guys continue doing what you're doing. And again, happy 4th anniversary to you guys. Many blessings and God bless.
What's up? It is your boy Chris Cox here from United by Culture Media and the Wild Ones podcast. And I just wanted to send out a happy anniversary shout out. 4 years in the making for the 1130 podcast and my guy DeAndre. So man, keep podcasting, keep it up, keep bringing awesome content. And I hope to see you for many, many more years. Happy anniversary, man. Peace.
What's up, y'all? This is your boy Island Mac, and I'm here just to wish the 1130 podcast a happy 4-year podcast anniversary, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Make sure you tune in. Hey, he gave me a chance to be on the show, and y'all tune in to happy anniversary. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Hi, this is Danielle, aka Lady Faye from Allegedly Credible, and we just wanted to take the time out to thank DeAndre, A, for having us on, B, congratulate him on 4 years of doing a podcast. And just so y'all know, running a podcast is not easy. Believe me, I know. But the fact that he's kept going for 4 years, that is amazing. We wish you all the best. Congratulations. And keep on going, brother. We are with you 100%. Have a good one.
Richard Wilson here. Happy 4 years of 1130 podcast, man. 4 years. Thanks to you, it's 1130 somewhere all the time. Congratulations.
Well, hello there, everybody. My name is Alex Wakito, one of the founding members of the PUWF, which is the podcast for underappreciated wrestling fans, giving the 1130 podcast and happy anniversary. Great time. Love you guys. Keep it honest, keep it truthful, keep it going. Giving you celebration. And wrestling is about unification and fun. So let's have some fun together. Shout out to 1130 podcast.
New merch. Yes, new merch is available now. Head over to bonfire.com/the 1130 podcast to place your order. I have t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, hats, you name it. Everything you want from the 1130 podcast is right here in one place. So head over to bonfire.com/the 1130 podcast to pick you up some monumental gear ahead of the new season of the 1130 podcast. Go get you some now.
What's good? What's happening? What's going on? Yo, it's me, Brian B. That's right, and I'm telling you guys to head on over to YouTube today and make sure you subscribe to the Beeline Entertainment LLC. Check us out. We all over the place.
Yo, what up? This your boy Kendall Stones, aka Coffee Weaston. This your boy D.O.E. Good Brother Bowl. And we are the Dirty Hills. You already know, man, you tuning in to 1130 podcast. Mm-hmm. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Dude, that's my job. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Yeah. And you have been Dirty Hills.
Yo, we back here on the 1130 podcast, man. Yo, it's the 4-year anniversary episode. And like I said throughout the show, I have an awesome guest that's coming back here on the 4-year anniversary episode. As you see him, he's the host of Motivational Motive, baby. My guy, Quon John. What's going on with you, my guy, man? It's been a minute, man. We was just talking, before we went on and stuff, man. How's everything?
Everything's going well, Drake. You know what I'm saying? I'm healthy, my wife healthy, kids healthy, so I can't complain, man. Life is good, man. honestly.
Yes, it is, man. Yeah, yes, it is, man. You got to be blessed, man, and just
Yeah.
uplifting, man. So I definitely get it. Once again, like I said, my guy Quan
Mm-hmm.
John, and 4 year anniversary episode, and I remember when I think it was about the first year and a half of me
Mm-hmm.
started podcasting, and I started getting guests on, and I remember one particular episode, and I had you on. It was
Okay.
actually you and another guest, but I remember the episode
Yeah.
where I had you on, and the first time
Mm-hmm.
we chatted, man, and I know people probably like, man, yo, Quan John is definitely a favorite here on the 1130 podcast.
Thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
because the first, no problem, man, the first interaction, that we had, man, I felt like, man, I must be talking to my own brother or something like that, man, and just some of the things that
Yeah.
we had, vibe with, and it was similar, especially the
Mm-hmm.
first episode, and that really touched me and inspired me as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, I gotta, continue to extend the olive branch, man, and welcome you here on the
Thank
1130
you.
podcast. And even before I came back to before the break and stuff, I know you reached out to me and said you wanted to, come back on and share
Yeah.
some insight to our community and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
as far as your latest books and all that, man, tell everybody, man, what's been going on with Quan John and everything, man.
Well, yeah, my fourth book, it's not published right now. It's called The Presence of Patriarchy, and
Okay.
it's a compilation of it's fictional, but it's based on true life accounts of the relationships that sons in particular have with their fathers. You know what I'm saying? And how I say how sometimes a father's presence could be could negatively influence a child. And when I tell people that, they're like, "What you talking about? How can a father's presence negatively influence the child?" And I tell them, "Well, I know particular people that are very dear to me, that their presence, they aren't living productive lives. They aren't moral people, for lack of a better term. They aren't good influences. So if that's their characteristics and that's their attributes, they can only bring that to the child. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to ask yourself, you know what I'm saying? Would their absence be more of a product to the child's well-being? You know what I'm saying? I'm a firm believer that if the man of the house isn't productive, if the man of the house isn't a provider, if the man of the house isn't a protector, he's not the man of the house and he shouldn't be around. You know what I'm saying? And and if he feels like he wants to be in a child's vicinity and he wants to be in a child's life, he has to go to the court system and let the powers that be handle that situation. You know what I'm saying? My son in particular, he's in that situation right now, and that's why I think I'm speaking so candidly about it. Not to get off the subject, but it's kind of on the subject. And in April, the beginning of this year, me and my son, we weren't speaking. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And in my opinion, I have always been a productive father. I've always been a provider to him. You know what I'm saying? We lived in different parts of America. I lived in New York. He lived in Virginia. You know what I'm saying? I would have him the summers. I would have him Christmases. I would do the school shopping. And I guess as he got older, he started resenting me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe because I wasn't there in the household, but I had to let him know, like, you know what? I had to leave to become a productive person so I can provide for you. You know what I'm saying? Long story short, we started having some issues and we weren't talking. All right. So in the beginning of this year, he had 3 motorcycle accidents, and the third one left my son paralyzed. My son is actually paralyzed from the waist down right now. I say all that to say is before he got paralyzed, he conceived and bared 3 children, 3 boys. You understand? And before that, he wasn't a productive father. Before that, he wasn't a provider. And even now, after that, he's paralyzed. He is not a productive parent, and he really doesn't even have a relationship with his boys. So, and I tell him I'm very close to my son's baby mother, very close to her, and I tell her, I know it's terrible that he's not there. It's terrible that he's not a provider. But you know what? It's actually the best thing for the children, because had he be in the house, he would only be a negative influence to them.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. I agree with that, and I think that story is very, very, very interesting. The whole ups and downs, in relationship with you and your son, and
Yeah,
now that he's paralyzed. But
yeah,
you also mentioned the fact that how the father absence could be best for the children. You spoke about that at one point, and I told recently how my biological dad was in my life, and I
right,
feel like as I got older, he tried to come back in. He tried to come
right,
back in, but
right,
it wasn't the consistency and
right,
I guess the priority or urgency to actually want to reach out or want to be there. And
right,
when the communication sort of started, we would text back and forth and
right,
maybe call maybe once or twice, just
right.
try to sort of get things back on. And it was
Mhm.
like sort of a letdown.
Yeah,
And I feel like throughout my life, I had male role models, male figures that was in my
right,
life who was role models.
right,
But
right.
I still became, a certain, a man that I,
Mhm.
am today, and a father or whatnot. And although my father wasn't there, I believe, it turned out, for the better. You just don't know what will happen,
Right,
if he was,
right,
sometimes we all got our life that we live, and
yep,
with sometimes majority of when the man is present, they have this negative energy or sort of resentment in the family, where they could treat the kids a certain type of way. So that absence sometimes, like how you said, man, this could be the blessing
yeah.
that you,
It's the
you, you
blessing in
didn't know.
disguise.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I got a story actually in my second book, that my other book, Habitual Habitat and Urban Sermon. Exactly, is the first story. It's called Oxymoronic Obstacles, and it's a story about a teenager. He's about 17 years old, and he starts getting in trouble, and his father is a career criminal, if you will, and he's a drug dealer, and his father comes home from jail, and him and his son, they get tight, as they should, but his father only shows him, the negative side of being a man. Get your money this way, and you know what I mean. Act like a hard rock, and yeah, all the things that our men are taught in these urban communities in survival mode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this led to him. My this actually is a story about my cousin. Actually, this led to him getting incarcerated for 27 years. He's still not home. He got locked up in 2003. He's still arrested. So I say all that to say is, I'm a firm believer that his father's influence propelled him to that side of the track. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
at that point, I don't think he had any positive role models in his life to kind of say, hey, you know what? I see what your father's showing you, but this is the other side of the track. You know what I'm saying? I think that
Yeah.
our boys, our men, they have to see both sides of the track. You know what I'm saying? And understand you have a choice in this thing called life. You
Mm.
understand?
I,
You
I
you
like
you have a choice.
I like
It's
that
not
that you
choosing
said.
you. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? You have a
I like
choice. Go ahead. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. I was just saying I like
Yeah,
how the fact that
yeah.
you said you
You
have a
know,
choice, because a lot of people don't realize that they have
you
a
choose,
choice.
man.
Once the sort of the father go out of the household, they sort of
Right,
gravitate towards the streets. What's going on in the streets, and
right,
they that sort of sucks them in, and they realize that, man, you know what, I don't have a choice, because mom is the
right.
only one in the house, or dad is not there, so I'm just gonna go to the streets where I feel more valuable at, instead of
That's right.
having these role models,
That's right.
male figures, come to them and give them advice, or help them be better men.
Right. Now these and I'm glad you said that, they go to the streets because they feel valuable. You know what I'm saying? And that's where, it happens every day. You know what I'm saying? These people that are already in the streets, these older men, let's say men our ages, you and I, you know what I'm saying? It's our duty, that when we see these little children, these 18 or 20-year-olds coming to us and say, hey, you know what, I want to do what you do. Let's say that we're living the gangster life, and we live in the negative life, and we're living, the drug dealer life. It's our duty to tell them, hey, I know you see what I'm doing. I know you see the jewelry. I know you see the cars. I know you see the girls and all of that. But you know what? This ain't the move for you. You understand? You know what I mean? And if you want to be if you want to be my friend, or if you want me to be your mentor or your advocate, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. Whether it be go to school, whether it be pick up a trade. I need you to start doing the positive things. Even though you're seeing me do the negative things, I need you to do the positive things if you want to be in my circle. You understand? So because I have I had an example that I used to discuss with former colleagues. It's basically, I used to smoke cigarettes, right? And I'm a firm believer that even though I smoke cigarettes, I still don't want my child to be a cigarette smoker. Let's say I'm a drug addict. Even though I'm a drug addict, I don't want my child to be a drug addict. So me and my colleagues would go back and forth, and they would say, well, I think that's kind of a catch-22 situation. If you don't want your kid to do it, you shouldn't be doing it. So I give them this firm example right here. I say, check this out. If I'm at the top of the building, right, and I'm about to jump off and commit suicide, you think I'm gonna want my kid to jump with me? No, I don't want them to jump with me. You understand? Even though I feel like that my life is worthless and I'm going to jump, I want them to save themselves and not jump. You understand? So I think it's our duty as the older generation that even if we are engaged in negative activity, we still have the responsibility and the duty to the younger generation. Let them know, I know you see what I'm doing, but it's not the move. You do what you do. You understand? But I think a lot of us, I think our self-esteem and our self-efficacy is so demoralized that we don't have the ability or the strength to say, you know what, you go the other way. You know what I'm saying? Misery loves company. You know what I'm saying? Hurt people usually hurt people, right?
You are right about that, man. Misery does love company, and but you get some, you get some, and there's very few gentlemen out there that will tell a young man that, you know what, go the other way, man. I see what you're doing, and whether it's sports or whatever, academic, man, you go the other way and do something good. And another thing I mentioned, how these young men or boys may go out to the streets because they feel valuable in there, and I think another thing is like I said, when the father is out the household and you got the mom that's working 2-3 jobs a day, that's trying to pay the bills. She's not home. She's not having time for the young boy. So he feels, sort of not necessary, but he feels like he needs to go somewhere to get love that he's not getting at home.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like I said, with my son and his baby's mother, like I said, me and her, we real tight. You understand? I'm whatever she needs, I'm there for, and I'm not doing it because I feel like I'm trying to replace what my son is not doing. I'm doing it because one, she's worth it. You know what I'm saying? She's a single mother. She actually has 4 children. You understand? She has her first child by another guy. And then she has 3 children by my son. She's a single mother with 4 children. She has her own spot. You know what I'm saying? She paying her own bills. She worked every day. And when I see pictures of my grandkids and all 4, when I see pictures, you would never know that she's lacking economically. You understand? Because you never see it in the faces or in their clothing or in their attire. You know what I'm saying? And she's doing the best, job she can. And for that alone, I commend her. You understand? Because she could have given up on the children herself. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't. You know what I mean? So whatever she needs, I'm there for her. And when they get older, they are going to need a productive role model in their lives. You know what I'm saying? And as their grandfather, I will be there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I'm going to be there present. You know what I mean? Like in the same town, but talking to them, letting them know, hey, what's going on and what it is to be, a young man and a teenager and a man one day. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to definitely need that, because they're going to get to a certain point in life as a teenager. She's not going to have the ability to have the conversations that only a man can have with them. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I'm going to come in as their grandfather.
I dig it, man. I definitely dig it. You said something that was an important role model, and I said it a little bit earlier. And how you spoke about, the situation with, not wanting your kid to smoke, even though you smoke, but you don't want your kids to smoke. And I think with a few of us, when you have such influence from someone, whether it's family
Mhm.
members or anything like
Mhm.
that, you'd be like, man, you know what? When I get older, I want to be like,
Right.
such and such. I want to be
Right.
like
Right.
daddy. I want to be, my dad's cool. I think what he does, or I want to
Right.
be like mom or whatever. But
Right.
I think we don't, we need to teach our, children the don't be like me. And I
Right.
get the point where,
Right.
like you saying that you don't want your kids to smoke cigarettes, even though
Right.
you did though, but
Right.
you want your kid to be better and
Right.
making decisions and living
Absolutely.
life than you did, be a better
Absolutely.
version than you did. And I think that's what we need to instill in
Mhm.
our kids,
Yeah.
mindset to be a better version.
Individuality.
Don't Yeah, exactly. There you go. Don't be me. Be a better
Right. You
version
can't be me.
than me.
You
Exactly.
only, you know what I'm saying? And because there's no comparison, I'm actually, I'm a high school outreach person, so I'm all up in the schools where I live. I live in Chesapeake, Virginia. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in all the schools in this area called Hampton Roads. You got Virginia Beach, Hampton, Chesapeake, Norfolk, Newport News, Suffolk. So I'm in all the schools, and I'm up in there, spitting that real game to these kids, letting them know, yo, there's no comparison. So I give them this example. I say, yo, check this out. I'm 5'10" and a half, Dre. That's how my height. I
Yeah.
say, this is what my height is. I say, am I tall or not? And they just look at me curiously. I say, yo, y'all know who LeBron James is? They say, yeah, we know who LeBron is. I said, if LeBron walked in this room, he's 6'8", and he stood next to me. Am I still tall or not? I don't look that tall because LeBron is here. You know what I'm saying? But if you bring a dude 5'1" into the room, I look tall. So am I tall or not? It depends. There's no comparison in life. When you start comparing yourself to the next man, you're on the road to self-destruction because now you watching his every move. Now you're comparing your moves to his. Now you're not even playing your game no more. You're playing his game. You know what I'm saying? It's like if we're taking the test. Let's say we're taking a math test, Dre. Me and you, we're taking a math test, and you, my friend, get a 96, and I get a 91. How can I be angry? One, we both got A's. Yeah, you got 5 points higher than me. Does that mean you smarter than me? Of course not.
No.
Of course not. Even if I got an 85, I should be proud of my 85. You
Yeah.
understand? Because if I put my blood, sweat, and tears in this 85, my 85 is just as good as your 96. You understand? Check it out. You could have cheated to get that 96, and I don't know. Right? So why would I? It's the comparison game. And as you get older, I'm 46 now, and it took me a long time to try to minimize my comparison to others. And that just comes with age and maturity, just understanding I'm who I am. I have these
Okay.
strengths. I have these shortcomings. You understand? You know what I mean? There's no way I can sit here and compare my strengths and my shortcomings to you because you have your own strengths and your own shortcomings. You know when they say it's like comparing apples to oranges? That's who we are as people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Why is
We got
that?
thing. Huh?
Yeah, well, why is that? Why is that? Comparing. People are always comparing and whatnot.
I mean, I think it's inherited. I think it's inherited from our predecessors because most of us were born in urban areas. You understand? Most of us, didn't have as much as we thought we should have, that we needed. You understand? I wasn't
Yeah.
one of the people. I had everything I needed from my parents. But I'm saying everybody in my community that I grew up in, they didn't have as much, right? So they would look at those that had more and say, damn, look what he got. Damn, look at those new sneakers. Damn, you got the new game console. You know what I'm saying? So they aspired that. I think comparison comes from lack of self-esteem and lack of self-worth. When you don't know your worth and your self-esteem is, as I said before, demoralized, now you're looking at everybody else like they're better than you, not understanding the other man's predicament. You never know what the other man's predicament is. You understand?
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know what he had to do or go through to get to where he is. You understand? Comparison. And when you start comparing yourself to another person, it's the cousin to jealousy. It's the cousin to envy. Because it
Yeah.
starts with comparison. You compare first, and then it goes to jealousy. Then it goes to envy. And after envy, it goes to straight hatred. So it's a
Yeah.
stair step. So we got to minimize the comparison. Now, hold up real quick. Comparing yourself to someone in sense of let's say, let's say you my older cousin, right? I'm in 10th grade and you in your freshman year of college. And I say, you know what? I want to follow Dre footsteps. I want to go to college just like Dre. Dre is majoring in mechanical engineering. That's what I want to do. That form of comparison is excellent. That's great comparison. That's not comparison. That's not envy. You understand? That's looking at somebody that you feel that is accomplished. You know what I'm saying? And you want to mimic their accomplishments. That's cool. However, we get a lot of kids that see the drug dealer or see the NBA player or see the football player and say, hey, that's what I want to do. Like I said, not knowing what it took to get to where they are. You understand?
Yeah,
Just only
I
seeing
get you.
the glamour and gold of, superstardom. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Do
it's a
it.
very touchy situation.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Do it. Kind of starts with sort of like self love in a way in home as you grow up, because or at least a self appreciation in a way. Because if you appreciate the stuff that you have, and we all didn't maybe didn't grow up with big cars,
Right.
big houses, and stuff
Right.
like that. So I wasn't the street guy,
Right.
but of course, having a disability and stuff like that, I always, maybe looked at it, in some things towards that effect. But, as I got older, I started to realize, man, I am, who I am. And,
Right.
I have my life and I'm going to live it to the fullest. And,
Right.
that's was that. But I think, it all starts with, I guess in the home, and
Yeah.
sometimes in the home, it,
It do.
could be corrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just to piggyback on what you say, having a disability, as your viewers and you know already, I'm a person that identifies as a person with a disability because I'm legally blind in both eyes. And first, I feel that the disabilities that we have, or the different abilities, shall I say, that we have, is actually our strength, right? I think that because I'm a firm believer in the higher power in God, I feel that me and you and other people that have various forms of disabilities, we were given this disability, one, because we were strong enough to have it and still overcome them. You understand? I don't believe in good or bad luck. I believe that we were given these disabilities because God knew that we had the strength, we had the charisma, we had the courage to overcome the disabilities and still become strong men in this lifetime. You know what I mean? So I say all I have to say is, take away your disability or take away my disability, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. You be off doing something else. I'll be off doing something else. I'll probably be dead because I'll be out here probably ripping and running and ripping. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
that's so funny. My
Right?
mom always said, if I
Right?
didn't have a disability, she said I can see you being out in the
Be
street
out
doing your
there.
thing and stuff like that.
You
So
understand? So I think it limited us just enough. You understand? To humble us.
Yeah.
And all of us in this world, in my opinion, have shortcomings, which I think could be labeled as a disability. But I don't think we don't pay attention enough to ourselves to acknowledge, okay, this is something that's kind of this is the thing that makes me who I am, type thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it took me a while to look at it like that. It was just like,
Yeah.
damn, I'm different than everyone else. It
Yeah,
was like,
and different is
especially
good.
like, and yeah, at a young age, I didn't,
Yeah, when you
definitely,
young is different. Yeah,
yeah,
you want to
yeah,
like everybody
yeah,
else.
exactly, and that's how we was just talking about in the individuality of
That's
just
right.
the importance of just being yourself.
Yeah,
And
and
when
you.
I got older, I realized, man, that this is me. This is who
It's
I
you.
am, and the people
Right.
who are close to me love me and don't
That's
even
right.
look at me in that way.
Right.
So it's it's definitely cool. So I definitely get what you're saying. Definitely,
Absolutely, brother.
definitely.
Absolutely,
Definitely.
man.
I want to piggyback also on the dad conversation that we was just
Sure.
having. On what could be, now we going into a new year. Been a
Yeah.
interesting year, long year, but it seems like it flew by though. But in 2024, with some
Yeah.
a real and I guess important sort of advice for new dads. I guess new dads, or advice for dads that want to be in their child's life, but just different situations.
Right. Well, as I said, with my son, he wasn't raised in my household because, like I probably said before on previous podcasts, I actually left the situation when he was a year and a half. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad I did, because he doesn't know what it's like for me and his mother to be together. He has no recollection of that. You know what I'm saying? So when I left the situation, long story short, I got on my feet. You know what I'm saying? Earned some degrees. I became a productive role model. I found myself, and that's when I was able to go back and have resources to give to him. So what I would say to new dads is, with your sons, let them express their emotions. You know what I'm saying? And I say that because like I'm quite sure you're familiar with this. Most of us are growing up having to be hold in our emotions. You know what I'm saying? And act like things don't hurt. You understand? And using this all the time and not using this. You understand? So I think allow your son to be emotional. You know what I'm saying? And I used to tell my son, when like let's say if he fell when he was running and playing ball, I'm like, yo, if you feel like crying, cry. Let it out. Don't hold that in, because that's going to come out somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Let it out.
Yeah.
Allow your son to express his emotions, whether it be crying. You understand? Whether it be venting. You know what I mean? And then help him channel the emotions to something positive. You understand? Whether it be journaling, whether it be painting, whether it be making beats on a beat machine. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be, writing. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my that's my therapy. Writing is my therapy. What we're doing now is therapy for me. You understand? This is how I handle my emotions. So I would say to young fathers, allow your son to express their emotions, then help them channel it into something positive. You understand?
I like that.
Duty. That's your duty. Because if not, they're gonna hold it in and they're gonna channel it into something negative. You see how it mimics each other? If you let it out, you can help them channel it to something positive. If you hold it in, inevitably, it will channel to something negative.
I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. Last question for you. You just talking about how you found yourself, and we're talking about young men. What's some of the uh moments? I'm looking out. Yeah, it sounded like it was a car crash outside. I'm not sure.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Me too. Well, last question. You spoke about finding yourself. What's some of the sort of, I guess, advice for young men who are sort of finding their self, and when they find themselves, what would be the sort of moment they not necessarily know, because
Aha
obviously you
moment.
wouldn't know. Yeah. That aha moment.
You know what? That's what this motivation motives book is about, man. You know what I'm saying? This book is about stories of people who are finding themselves and having that aha moment. We get these aha moments all the time. You know what I'm saying? As I said, when I left the situation with my son, it's not like when I came back to New York, I was this different guy and I said, oh, okay, I know what I want to do. I went through various trials and tribulations. I was a habitual weed smoker. I was a habitual drinker. I used to deal with many women, because I was trying to see, when you're young, you think that's what you're supposed to do. You understand? You think you're supposed to do that, and I wasn't educating myself. I didn't have any money. I was living with my parents. Basically, I was a bum. You understand? And so before I even answer the question, I want to tell the young man right now, if you are over the age of 18 and you're not contributing to the household by way of going to school, by way of working, or by way of giving your mother or your father or whoever you're living with some type of economical resource, you are a bum. Okay, because before the age of 18, someone is legally binded to take care of you. After the age of 18, they can kick you out on the street and don't speak to you ever again. So if you are benefiting from living in the household of someone that loves you after the age of 18, you should kiss the ground that they're walking on, because you are actually homeless. Okay, so I say all that to say is that's what I was in my parents' household at the age of 24. You understand? You know what I mean? I was just, I didn't know which way was up. You ever seen that movie, Which Way Is Up, with Richard Pryor? Nah, I was basically him. I didn't know where to go. So what happened was one day I was going to get a bag of weed, like I used to do. It was a Sunday. I was actually gonna watch the Laker game. You know what I'm saying? This is back when the Kobe Shaq era. And
Yeah.
buddy, I'm doing something. I think she's outside. Okay. So I was that's my little one. She's big now. So I was gonna watch the Laker game. So I left out to go get my little trees. So I was outside, and the neighborhood weed man, he was standing on the corner, and he was like, "Yo, give me 5 minutes because the cops they up the block." So I said, "All right, cool." So I kind of chilled out for a minute. 5 minutes came by, and he was like, "All right, we good." So we go into the neighborhood chicken spot, and I bought it. Right, buddy. I'm doing something right now. Well, you have to give me a second. So I bought it, and when I turned around to leave out, the cops was dead center right in my face. You understand? And we both got arrested, me and the guy. So this was a turning point in my life. Now this was one nickel bag of weed. So we rode around, we went to the neighborhood lockup and all of that. And now my father is an ex New York police officer. You understand?
Yeah.
I had one of his cards in my wallet. You understand? So, when you get arrested, they confiscate everything. So they went through my wallet and they found my father's card. I didn't know that they were going to call him. So they take us to the basically the jail where you have to actually get arraigned before to see the judge. So when I get up there, we in central bookings and we sitting down, and the guy came and sat next to me, and he kept on, he was kind of talking to me, the dealer. He was like, "Yo, man, when you talk to the cops, don't rat me out," type thing. And I was like, rat you out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they call you up to the window to verify yourself. They, like my name is Laquan Johnson. They called me up, Laquan Johnson, say your birthday and everything. They go there, boom, boom, whatever. So they called him. You know what I'm saying? I think let's just say his name was Winston Bailey. So they say Winston Bailey, September 7th, 1954. And that birthday rang a bell. You know what it is? That was my father's birthday. That was my father's birthday. And I said, hold up. This guy is still on the corner selling weed at my father's age. My father probably was like 50 at the time. And I had an epiphany. I said, I do not want to be 50 years old still on the corner selling $5 bags of weed. You know what I'm saying? So now the wheels are turning in my head. I'm like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? So I go there to get fingerprinted. So I'm getting fingerprinted by this one particular cop. You know what I'm saying? And the cop tells me, he was like, "Yo, man, you like a good kid, man. What are you doing out here?" I said, "Well, I was just going to get some weed, man." He said, "Yo, check this out." He said, "It's like 1:00 in the morning now." He said, he said, "Right now, I'm doing overtime right now." You understand? He said, "I'm going to be here until like 10 in the morning. You guys that we are arresting, y'all paying my mortgage right now. You guys are going to be the guys that's actually going to be putting my kids through college. The more we arrest y'all, the more money I make." And the bulb went off. And I said, this sounds like modern day slavery right here. They making money off, off my mishaps. You understand? Word up. Long story short, my pops, he popped up because, like I said, they called him. You know what I'm saying? So they about to put me in the cell. So it's like 4 cells on this side and 1 cell at the end of the corridor. So the cop, he walks me down the cell, and it's dark, and it's like 40 dudes in each cell in this small cell. But we're walking past him. He's not putting me in there. So they walk me down to the cell at the end of the corridor, and my father's sitting there in the chair. So they tell me, "Yo, we just got to run your rap sheet, make sure you don't have no warrants, and we'll let you out in a few hours." So they put me in a cell by myself, and I asked the cop before he left. I said, "Joe, had my father not be here and had me not be affiliated with him," he said, "Oh, yeah, you'd have been in those cells with them dudes right there." You understand? The real criminals. You understand? And that was the turning point in my life. That was the aha moment. You know what I'm saying? This guy that was on the corner, they told me, they said, "We just arrested him 2 days ago." You understand? He went back out there. We're going to lock him up again. He's going to go back out there tomorrow. We're going to lock him up again. We're making so much money off just arresting this guy because the more arrests we make with him, we sitting back. We got to do the paperwork all night. All of this is adding up in their salary. It's paying their mortgage, and it's putting their kids through college. So once I heard that, I was like, okay, I'm the fool here. I'm the fool here. And that was the turning point in my life of getting everything together. And here I am, 3 degrees later. I'm actually pursuing my PhD in counseling right now from Hampton University.
I like that, man. I respect that story, man. For real, you gotta. I feel like everyone gotta have that, aha moment,
Aha moment.
in their life, man. And
Yep.
that's definitely an aha moment, man. So
Yep.
I once again, Quan John, man, you the man, for coming
Thank you.
here on the show and talking and sharing the insight that you do. When your new book coming out, your fourth book.
Well, you know what? Right now, I'm so busy with speaking in these high schools and I'm pursuing my PhD.
Okay.
If I had to give myself a deadline, I would probably say summer of 2024 because it's already written. You know what I'm saying? I just have to get it published and packaged up, man.
Okay, man. Hey, look at that sounds like another podcast episode. For you to definitely come back on, man, and definitely chat about that. I appreciate you 1000%, man. Definitely sharing insight, for far as in the black community for dads, young dads, young male role models and stuff like that. I always get tongue tied, but I appreciate it, my guy. I appreciate it a lot. And once again, thank you for coming through here on the 4-year anniversary of the 1130 podcast. Man, I'm definitely probably going to have you on the 5-year episode. So
absolutely,
you know how we get down, man. So all the links are down below, everyone. So definitely make sure you go catch up on Motivational Motives, and follow my guy Quan John. For real, man. Sit tight. I got more of the anniversary episode coming up. Don't move. You're listening. You're watching to the 1130 podcast. You dig? Man, it's your man Dre, man, aka Dre on Wheels, man. This is the 1130 podcast. Come on, bro. What it do, bro?
How you doing?
What's going on, man?
And that's what's gonna push you. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with being alone. You need alone time to figure out what it is that you're trying to do.
Ludacris, because Ludacris is like my favorite. Like he brought me into hip hop when I was a kid.
That's what Jay-Z beat from that part of the country.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. All right. Would you rather share your bed with all of your kids for a year, or have to do all of their homework for a year?
Well, let me get that pencil out.
Oh, I'm telling you, I can't share my bed. My daughter, she sleeps too wide.
I'm April from Washington, D.C.
And I do say this to a lot of young guys. Sometimes it's just not for you.
You're an NXT super fan. How was, that, and how was that? How is it, being known as the Beatty girl?
It's really cool in a way. I love being recognized as the Bailey girl.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just go in there and I create. Don't know how it's going to come out. Don't know what I'm going to do. I just have an idea what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? It don't go according to plan all the time, but it always come out amazing.
They will pay for your college tuition in its entirety. You understand me, Dre?
We were like, we kind of collectively was like, Janelle mentioned it. She was like, what about like a cup of tears or something? And I was like, that might be able to work. And then we're like, jobbers? And I was like, jobbers are very important to wrestling. And then it came, and then we were like, none of us are superstars. We're low-key jobbers. None of us are up there. And we're going to be complaining about wrestling on this podcast. So jobber tears. And that's how the name came up. And then if you look at the logo closely, it's a cup with tears pouring out.
I'm gonna tell you the money. I'm gonna try to, the females. I'm designing thing.
3-time returning podcast champ, of course.
To be happy, then you'll probably never be happy. And so I think I just wasn't wise enough to understand that happiness was a choice, and I could just decide that I was going to be content and happy with my life.
I think this whole mask thing is an issue for me.
You in the back of the head, they throw it in the air.
Strong person on my own, but sometimes they say check on your strong friends, they need help.
Just learned more on top of what I had already done.
We'll call it All-Star Weekend. We got to see All-Star.
I feel like that was probably the hardest part. And then, like, even now, still being in it, like, booking is still one of the harder parts.
Shit, airplanes, dog.
honing my skills, I just naturally always sounded different.
I will see anybody that comes to my door if it's a good fit.
Lately, it's been the fact that God trusted me enough to hand me the gift.
What is missing in today's wrestling is a lot of managers. Back, man. Yo, Quon John, thank you for coming through here on the 1130 podcast. Really awesome time chatting with you, my brother. Really, really awesome time chatting with you. From the first time I had you on, I was like, man, like this dude, man, he's it for me, man. I enjoyed chatting with him. And thank you for coming back here on the podcast show. 4-year anniversary episode. And also, shout out to my guy, Brian B, for coming through as well, man. And thank everyone who sent in all the shout out videos wishing the 1130 podcast a happy 4-year anniversary, man. I'm thrilled. I'm really thrilled. It's the holiday season. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope everyone enjoy and hope all the kids get what they want, man. For real. This last episode of 2023. Talk Pro Wrestling is on break. It will return following WWE Royal Rumble. Give all my predictions or review and all my reactions on what went down at the Royal Rumble. Also, Beyond 1130, you guys, will return January 18th. So make sure you tune back in. Grown folks are talking, man. When we talking sex, relationships, man, parenting, you name it. So definitely chime in and make sure you check out the previous episode, man. It's always something in the background trying to distract me when I'm doing the episodes, you guys, man. For real. Make sure you catch up on previous episodes on the 1130 podcast YouTube channel. That's Beyond 1130, man. For real. And also, you guys, this is the last episode of the year from the main podcast show. The 1130 podcast will return, you guys, in March of 2024, you guys. Yes, March of 2024. Some amazing content that's coming. So Beyond 1130 is coming January 18th, 2024. The 1130 podcast show will return in March of 2024. And Talk Pro Wrestling will indeed return following WWE Royal Rumble January 27th, man. So great content. Great things lined up. I appreciate everyone for the major support, man. And see you guys next season here on the 1130 podcast show. But until next time, you guys stay safe, stay beautiful, man. Give all the glory to God, man. Won't he do it? Yo, it's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. And I'm out.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Yeah. I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 1130 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one.
He the one, nigga. So
let's Breeze,
baby. He the one.
Who with me?
So Breeze, baby.
Let's get it. You with me? Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, you know it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options.